Hi, this is Brian Armstrong from StartBreakingFree.com, and today I'm going to show you a quick video on how to put together a financial statement in about 5 minutes each month. So you can see I've got my income statement template open here in Excel. By the way, you can download this off my website at StartBreakingFree.com. Just search for financial statement and you'll pull up the article on how to do this. So we see January 2008 here. This is where I'm going to put in some fake numbers just as a demo, and we see we're going to total up our total income, our total expenses, and the difference between those will be our net income. Okay, so let's go over to my browser, Firefox here, and you can see we've got my online bank website open up here for Washington Mutual, but almost all online banking websites have some kind of link that says something similar to this: download transaction history for a particular account. So I've got my main account selected here, and I'm going to put in a date range. Since we're doing January, the month of January, and remember income statements show transactions over a period of time, we're going to pick a start date for January 1st. And we're going to pick the ending date as January 31st. Okay, now you see this option here for software. We're going to select CSV, which stands for comma separated value, but really all you need to know is that that can be opened in Excel, which is what we want. So I'll click Next, Download, Open. Okay, and you see that here we have a new Excel document open up with our transactions for that account. Okay, now that I've removed a little bit of the private information, well, let's take a look at this in more depth. Okay, so we've got these five column headings across the top. We've got the date, the transaction type, the check number, the description, and the transaction amount. Let's expand this description a little bit because we're going to use that to categorize our income and expenses. And let's make one more column heading. I'm going to call it category. Now, literally, all we're going to do is go down this list and categorize our expenses. Now you can just start typing. I like to have about 8 or 9 different categories. One for dining, gas or auto expenses, insurance, your rent, income, all would go into one category. Anything that I can't fit into a category, I'll just put as other. So you can see it's pretty quick if we start going down. This is dining, this is dining. And you see Excel does something interesting here. I just started to type D and it already pulls up what that word might be, and it sort of builds this list based on the previous entries you've made. So it's actually pretty quick as you go down. So let's check back in just 1 second and I'll have these. Okay, now that we've put in all of our categories and expenses, let's have Excel total them up for us. So I'm going to go over here and start selecting all of our transactions, and starting from the first line, which is the column headings. And actually, I can release the mouse button and just scroll all the way down to the end. And holding down Shift, I'll click the last cell. You can see we now have all of our transactions selected. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of Excel magic here and go up to Data, Filter, Auto Filter. And you can see what Excel has done is it's put these little up and down arrows at the top of each column. And if we pull this down, what we can do is tell it to show us only a certain category of expenses, like education. And you can see now the only ones it's showing are the education expenses. So it's essentially filtered out all of the particular transaction that we want to look at. Now if I put the cell down here and I want to total these up, all I have to do is go click Auto Sum. There'll be some, depending on your version of Excel, there'll be some kind of function to do that. And you can see it's giving us a blue box showing us all the numbers it's going to sum up. So I'll hit Enter, and here we have the sum total. And if I pull this down and pick a different category like gas, you can see the total automatically updates. And we can even label it. So what this does is it makes it really easy for us to categorize our expenses and then get a total for each one. And then if we go over to our income statement here, really if you make these categories here just like on your other sheet, it's just a matter of going down and copying these numbers in one at a time. So let's do that now. Okay, there we go. We've got all of our expenses entered from the other Excel sheet, and we've got all of our income categorized and expensed. Most people, their primary income is from their job, and then if you have real estate or a business that you own, those will be additional incomes. And you can see down at the bottom here we've got a positive number, which is good. That means our net income for the month was positive. We made $80 more than we spent. But you can imagine that if these income numbers had been a little different, I mean, we were just barely cash flow positive. If our small business had only paid us $350 that month, or $200, then you can see this number turns red down here at the bottom, and our net income is negative. Now, if you hadn't made this income statement that month, you never would have known that this month you spent more than you earned, and you're essentially taking one step closer to bankruptcy as opposed to financial freedom. So that's just an example of how important it is to make these income statements, especially when it's so easy and it doesn't take too long. All right, well, on my website you can see an example of how to make a balance sheet as well, and you can download these Excel templates. And I really encourage you to take a few minutes to make these each month, or pay someone to make them. But if you're not looking at your financial statements each month, then you're really just wandering blindly in the dark. This has been a video from StartBreakingFree.com, and this is Brian. Take care.